Hello, everyone. Welcome back to How Come. My guest today is Buck Angel.
How come? How come? How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my sleeves. I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh, baby, I believe these guests can help. 'Cause I can't do it by myself. I wanna jizz.
He is a world-renowned motivational speaker, pioneering filmmaker, human rights activist, and adult film star. He has starred in and produced award-winning films such as Sexing the Trans Man, Conversations with Trans Men, Mr. Angel, and Bucking the System, which have all been shown all over the world and now are used in more of an educational way and educate people all around the world about trans male sexuality. Buck also made history as the first trans man to win Performer of the Year at AVN Awards.
Crazy, huh?
Crazy!
Well, wait, you didn't say the year.
2007.
That's old school.
That's old school. That's crazy.
I know, and there has never been another trans man. There's been 2 nominated since 2007, only 2, and no one trans man has ever won that award. It's horrifying, and it actually upsets me a lot.
It's great. Well,
yeah.
I mean, I watched Mr. Angel. I also watched Conversations with Trans Men.
Thank you.
Both amazing films. They're all available on Amazon Prime. If you guys want to go, if we don't do any of them justice in this conversation, please go watch them too.
Right on.
They're great. But yeah, in Mr. Angel, you were receiving your first AVN award for, I think it was Trans Performer
That
of
was
the Year.
my very first AVN Award, Trans Performer of the Year, yeah.
And you were like, I feel like a superstar. And I was like, oh my God, he's so cute.
I even cried. I'm not even kidding. I cried.
Like, what a great moment.
Yeah.
And your wife was there. And like, I feel like your wife is such an amazing...
She's not amazing.
No?
I'm going to cut you off.
Oh.
I got a divorce from her. She completely stole all my money. I mean, really, if you want to get into it, I could tell you the most I'll start crying right now. Oh. Yeah, it was horrifying. Well, I was married to that woman for 10 years. She was my soulmate. You saw it in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. She turned around, was stealing my money for 2 years and putting it in other bank accounts. And then she challenged my gender in court and said I was really a woman and not a man in the United States court system. It was the first case of its kind. Yes. What? Just Google Buck Angel divorce. It was one of the biggest. I won the case. It was the first case in the history of the court system, and I won it.
That's a gap in my research.
Oh my God. It's okay, no, because I don't talk about it a lot because it hurts my feelings.
Yeah,
but we need to talk about it. Yeah, it's 4 years and it still hurts my feelings.
Well, now it makes, because I mean, she was so excited about your success, and now I'm like, that wasn't about you at all. It was about her and like what she could reap the benefits.
Oh my God, you're so smart, lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see it. And it really, I can tell you, 4 years later, look at my skin. It's just, I can't believe somebody would do that to me. I just can't even believe it today. I can't even be in a relationship because of it. I can't. I haven't been in a relationship because I just feel scared.
I mean, it's like the most betrayed you could ever be by your number one person in your life.
Ever. And she's a sociopath. I figured it out what it is. That's sociopathic behavior.
Yeah.
On such a level that it wrecked me beyond belief. And I'll tell you, prior to that woman helped me do so much in my life. She taught me many things. Me and her were soulmates. We were. And I thought, it's been around. We lived in a beautiful home in Mexico. We had everything. And we gave a lot to our community. And but I don't really know what happened to this day, except for she was putting my money in different bank accounts, stole everything, left me with nothing. I left Mexico and gave her everything. I just needed to win that court case. That was the most important thing to me, was to win. Because if I didn't win that, it would have opened the door for every queer marriage, every gay marriage, every to-be dismantled.
Totally.
And I won it. And I put every ounce of my energy as an activist into winning that case.
Well, everything that you do is for other people who already are told so many times, like, you're not a legitimate person. Your gender's not legitimate.
Yes.
I mean, like, you were the first self-proclaimed man with a pussy.
Totally. My mom's so proud of me. No, she is actually.
Yeah, she was great on the doc too. I mean, we can get into all this.
Of course,
your poor dad too. But also, like, I feel like your dad was a pretty difficult figure.
Understatement. But today, let me just tell you a real quick story. So for Christmas, when I was a kid, my dad had this awesome cowboy hat. And I just used to stare at my dad. And my dad's a handsome man, like kind of rugged, you know, kind of Charlton Heston-y kind of way, like just a cowboy man. And he was wearing a cowboy hat. And I used to look at it when I was 10 and I wanted that cowboy hat. And I want to look like my dad. He would never give me that cowboy hat. And this December, he pulled out the box. It's a Stetson, a real Stetson.
Oh my God.
And he said, I'm going to cry. I'm such a sensitive guy. He gave me the hat. He said, son. This is for you. I know. And it was like one of the most amazing things that ever happened to me.
I mean, that's amazing. But you also really see his journey, like,
Yes.
through your journey,
Yes.
too. Like,
Yes.
he was such a fucking, like, asshole, for lack of a better term.
Asshole.
Like, asshole.
Yep.
Was physical with you guys, which you
Yep.
said you were, like, ambivalent about, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, you know, I made amends. I made peace with it. You
Yeah,
know, I
okay.
made peace with it. I have to understand generational things. We all need to understand, especially now as an elder.
Right.
I'm not saying abuse is good. No, not at all.
But you were saying that, like,
Yeah.
that's what happened to him. And
Yes.
behavior is learned.
It's learned behavior.
Yeah.
And this is what we need to talk about. My father came from very bad space. He was just reenacting his space. Today I have the most loving, amazing relationship with my father. I'm his son. We spend time at the gym. We do man stuff together.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have any issues with me anymore. Why? I show up. That's why. I show up every time I need to show up with him. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, nope, I'm not I'm he, Dad. Until he finally got it.
Didn't he kind of raise you guys like boys
Yeah.
anyway?
Yeah.
Like, so
We were all
it's
dykes.
Kind of, yeah, it's
Totally.
kind of nice to, like, be able to be the son he never had but always had.
Yes. Kind of interesting,
Like,
right?
really cool.
Yeah.
Was he helpful through the breakup?
My parents were amazing.
Yeah.
They came and saved me. Really, you know,
Yeah.
I didn't have anything. I'll be honest with you, nothing, no money. I had like $100. She left $100. She cut up all my credit cards. She left. She
psycho.
stranded me, and I was in Oslo, Norway. She stranded me. It was insane. It was insane. I'm not even going to tell you everything. It's just insane. Google it. I was on TMZ. They were making fun of me on TMZ, and finally, I called TMZ. I said, "Don't you dare make fun of me. You better bring me on live because this is actually deeper
Yeah.
than you could ever even imagine." She
Yeah.
is challenging my gender in the court. United
Totally.
States court system. And the guy who does TMZ, he's gay. And I'm like, shame on you. So he actually did. He brought me on TMZ and had me talk about it.
Good.
So it was, you know, a lot of things came out of that. A lot of great
Yeah.
things came out of that because I'm an activist and I put my emotional
100%.
stuff to the side and I just clicked into my activism.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
And
what
you were
saved
like,
me.
I'm going to get a platform and tell all
Totally.
these people.
Totally.
You know, my boyfriend's actually the one who told me about you.
Oh,
because
right
he
on.
watches a lot more porn than I do.
Oh, yeah. Right on.
And yeah, I just found you so empowering because we were talking. I had Carly Shortino on from Slut Ever.
Oh, she's awesome.
She's
I love her.
Amazing.
Love her.
And we
Yep.
were talking about pussy power and how
Yep.
that whole pussy power movement, like, alienated trans women who didn't necessarily have pussies. But then
Yep.
when I think about you, I'm like, but it does include all these trans men who also have pussies
Thank
and
you.
have been told that those are shameful.
Thank you.
And, you know, like, I personally grew up thinking vaginas were disgusting.
We all did.
Right? Like,
We all did. I don't know
Yeah.
any woman, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know one single or vagina
owner.
person
Yeah.
who ever said, I grew up with this empowerment, or, unless you had a hippie mom and dad or something.
Yeah.
But pretty much everyone who has a vagina was
like a doula.
shamed.
Like your mom
Yes.
has to be a doula
It's so
in order
real.
for you to find your vagina
It's so real.
Yeah. And so I think about the flip side of that, and like, you have such pussy power in a way that, and you are such a masculine man that it's like, whoa, I thought for whatever reason, by nature of having a vulva, that made you a less strong, less capable, less
Right.
assertive person.
Isn't that a
And you
horrible
flip
thought?
that on its fucking
I
head.
totally did. I'm all motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Watch this. I mean, honestly, I feel I can't even tell you. I don't even want to use the word empower because that just doesn't even really cut it for me. It doesn't feel. It's more than empowerment.
Yeah.
It is. I have been enlightened on some level. I'm telling you, I have been saved for a reason. I know that. I have a path
Totally.
that has been given to me that
Yes.
that is so powerful. I can't even tell you. Like,
Yeah.
I have no shame around my vagina. Zero. I have such empowerment from it that it hurts on some level.
Yeah.
Because I see so many people struggle with their vagina, not just trans men, but women, cis women.
Totally.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
We have so many people who write in that are like, oh my God, I've never even looked at it. Like, I think
Never.
it must be disgusting.
Never.
And like, what you don't know or what you're not looking at, like what you're thinking of is much scarier.
Yes.
You know, like, get to know it. It's really nice.
It's really weird that we have this idea that we cannot look at our vaginas or we cannot touch our vaginas or our vaginas smell or our vaginas are blah, blah, blah. All these things that are so not true. And the fact that I embraced something that I hated forever.
Did
I
you
hated
really
it.
hated it?
I hated it.
Okay.
I never wanted my vagina. I always wanted a penis. When I
Okay.
transitioned, I wanted a penis.
Yeah.
I wanted to be that man with the penis. The universe saved me from getting that penis. Now, I'm not anti-penis.
Right.
I am not anti-penis surgery. I'm actually upset about how horrible it is.
Well, it's not very advanced yet.
It's not advanced, and that's the thing. We cannot be creating those kinds of things on young trans guys that are not functioning, or they don't feel good about, or they can't celebrate at the level I celebrate my vagina. That's not okay.
What's interesting is I feel like I've talked to older people, especially when Caitlyn Jenner came out, which is so interesting to think about now, like how much later she came out versus you winning like the most illustrious award in porn, and like it still wasn't really talked about until it was on some fucking dumb reality show. But when that happened, I was like, oh, that's why the Kardashians have been around.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
But when that happened, I remember a lot of older people in my life were like, well, I actually know trans people and they all regret their surgeries or whatever. Like, making it sound, which they might regret genital surgeries if they lose feeling and stuff. Of course that would be hard. But they don't regret feeling like a different gender or being a different gender. And that's like an argument that I used to get really annoyed at.
Of course. Here's the deal with the bottom surgery. I know guys who actually did not like their bottom surgery after they did it, and they wished they didn't do it. They will not talk about it. And so I said, it's your obligation to talk about why you don't like your bottom surgery so that we can actually fix it. I go out and talk about my vagina all the time so that you can actually embrace your vagina.
Yeah.
It's not okay for me to find a space in the world and be so happy and feel so accomplished and not share that again back to the world. That's called abundance, by the way. When you get, you give. We're used to just taking in our community and our society and the world. We just learn to take. You cannot take. When you're a success, you have to give back on whatever level that is.
Totally.
So there is bad surgery. There is good surgery. There is some people who like it. There are some people who hate it. It's a personal choice.
What are the reasons that some people are unhappy with them that you know?
It's non-functioning. They didn't like the way it came out. That's the number one reason why I didn't choose to get the bottom surgery. It's because I like sex.
Right.
And the thing that connected me to my vagina was masturbation and sex.
Vulvas are multi-orgasmic,
But
whereas
we're not taught that as men.
But we're not taught that either.
And even as men, trans men, we were so pushed into a space that said we have to have a dick. If we don't have a dick, we're not men. It's still that way in the trans community.
Totally. Well,
they hate me. Many trans men hate me because I talk about my vagina. They hate me.
Really?
Yes, hate me. Like with a passion, they hate me. They think I have ruined it for all trans men. They think everyone thinks all trans men have vaginas. You see the narcissistic behavior there that this community has created. It's all me, me, me.
Well, my thing, when I think about trans people or people in general, if somebody's like, oh, is that a guy or a girl or whatever, like what's in their pants or whatever, I'm always first like, do you intend to fuck them?
Right.
Like, do you want to fuck the person who's like serving us this meal?
And why do you care?
And if not, like, why do you care?
Exactly.
Like, you shouldn't care.
Exactly.
So I think you're actually doing like a pretty big service to the community because, first of all, if these surgeries aren't safe, if they are going to make you desensitized, you need people telling you that, but also you need people to accept a different type of body for the people who can't afford those surgeries.
Oh my God, then there's that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. I mean, I have a privilege of being this person. I understand that 100% because of my economic space, but remember, I transitioned 23 years ago.
With your top surgery. You think of your top surgery as
my transition and hormones and top surgery 23 years ago when nobody else was doing it. There are very few people. In Los Angeles, I was the first guy to go to my top surgeon and my hormone. Both of them called me a guinea pig. Both of them said you're an experiment. Both of them had no idea what they were doing. Yes, I was totally in a space of
because your top surgery is like
unbelievable.
The best I've ever seen.
Because my doctor is a Beverly Hills surgeon. I seeked him out, and specifically he does surgery for gynecomastia, which is what cisgender men have. They have boobs, right?
Yes.
That's a male surgery. So I looked for somebody who was really versed in gynecomastia.
Perfect.
Because I thought, and
Very
he said,
smart.
I brought this surgery from Belgium. It was the keyhole incision, and I was the first guy to have that from
What
this
is it called?
It's called the keyhole incision.
Keyhole incision.
So it goes right underneath your areola. So that's why I don't have those big scars.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so he did it, and it came out amazing. But
wow,
I took
that's a good little
10
guinea
surgeons
pig.
would not touch me here. I went to 10.
Whoa.
They said, that's mutilation. We will not do that to you. I had to deal with all kinds of level of transphobia.
Totally. I mean,
Yep.
people already have enough issues with their doctors, especially people with vaginas.
Oh my God. And then there's that. I mean, trying to go to the gynecologist 23 years ago.
Right.
Let me tell you a lot of stories.
Oh my
People would not
God.
touch me. I sat into offices where I had an appointment and then I was the last one there 3 hours. They come out and they're like, the doctor isn't really comfortable working on you. I said, I sat here 3 hours. Are embarrassed. These women are looking at me like, who am I? I was humiliated. And I said, wow, shame on you. And she said, well, I'll do it. My sister's gay. And I'm like, but what does that have to do with me? You see that they totally, again, we could talk about so many things. Sex and gender, they mixed up sexuality and gender.
That's the thing too. When I was watching Conversations with Trans Men, I think one of the things that you were asking a lot was how people identified before the surgery or before they transitioned versus after.
Right.
And a lot of people were thinking like, well, does this make me gay now? Like, and
hilarious.
Like, I don't even know how to answer
I know
that.
you're speechless because it's such a but we really have to understand the rest of the world. We're advanced thinkers. We live in a space where we get to celebrate things, we get to try things, we never really discourage each other from doing it. The rest of the world can't do that. If a guy wants to have sex with a trans woman, it's a whole big deal. Like a cis guy, it's like but people equate gender and sexuality as the same thing. They don't understand they're two different things. My sexuality, I'm bisexual. It has nothing to do with me being a transgender guy. That's my gender.
Although I did notice a lot of the trans men happen to be bisexual.
Well, then we can talk about that. I did a whole series on that called Sexing the Trans Man. And that is about guys who transition, who their sexuality changed along. Almost 80% of the men that I have interviewed have transitioned and their sexuality transitioned along with it. Most of them were gay women, identified gay women, and now most of them are gay men.
And you were a gay woman before.
I was a gay woman before.
Were you always, I mean, I know you didn't like your vagina, but were you...
I had sex with it.
Sexually in touch with it?
No, nowhere near what I am now. Mostly I was drunk or stoned or high on coke, and that was the only way I could actually play with my vagina. If it wasn't stoned or high, I would wear clothes and rub, do stuff like that. Just grind on you in the dark or whatever, because I couldn't really handle my body.
Yeah.
I would strap my boobs down. My boobs were like as big as my handful. They were not big, but to me they were double D's.
Model boobs.
Yeah, they were like model boobs, totally.
Yeah, little New York heroin chic model boobs.
And I was strapping them down with ace bandages, thinking everyone could see them.
Yeah.
It's horrible what you have to go through when you're not in the body that you don't feel. That's why now I'm so naked everywhere I can go, because it's such a celebration of a space. I'm free. I'm free.
It was interesting because you had a lot of the men take off their tops in the doc. And it was interesting for me to feel that my perception of breasts was changing even.
Great.
Because I was like, oh, if I was looking at these on a woman, I think I would judge them in a different way. I don't know if it was harsher. I think it was harsher. I think
Of course it was, because you're also a woman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then I'm like, oh, now I'm looking at it on a man, and like these breasts that I normally would see as like saggy breasts or whatever, they have like nipple hair and like they belong to men. So I'm like a little more forgiving of them. And I'm like, oh, well, they should go topless all the time.
Exactly. Right on.
Yeah.
No, thank you for saying that. That's really empowering for those guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, it just changed my idea
of breasts.
Of breasts, yeah.
Right?
Of everything. And I honestly hadn't really seen a ton of trans men naked before I was introduced to you.
Thank you.
And
it's so important you see more of those guys.
Yeah, and also like, because you don't realize that there are things that you could be attracted to that you didn't really realize.
Thank you, my friend.
Like one of my friends was watching one of the docs with me, and he's gay, and he's always talking about how disgusting vaginas are. And
they always do.
Like, and I was like, but look at Buck. I was like, isn't Buck hot? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, when you fuck Buck? And he was like, yeah, I guess. And then I was like, see, like you could get adjusted to a vagina.
I fuck all gay men.
Yeah.
And the thing that they always say is, am I straight now?
Are you kidding?
I go, are you kidding me? Look at me, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I just fucked you.
Yeah.
And like, did we just have a man experience?
Yeah.
And like, they're all okay with all of it. It's just their focus on the vagina is so focused to female that they cannot, and that's just the world. We've been taught females have vaginas and men have penises, and both are, when we come out into the world, we're actually genderized by genitals.
Yeah, exactly.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, that is totally
Well,
insanity.
what are they going to do and be like, this one seems nice?
I know. Totally. I think we got to come to a space where
There's criers and not criers.
Totally. You're a boy and you're a girl.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Totally.
Well, I always say, like, I always hate when people call people like dicks or pussies or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
right.
even though I do it too because they
do it.
have like a specific connotation, but I'm like,
Right.
like being a little bitch is like associated with being a woman, but like
Right.
there are men who are total little bitches.
Are you kidding?
And women who've got big dick energy.
Right
and,
on.
You know, and everyone who's got everything.
That's why it's good to mix it up like that. So, like, yeah, a dude can be a bitch, and it is a real fucking thing.
Yeah.
And a woman can be a big dick wearing motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to understand
and it has
that.
nothing to do with their gender or their
Nothing.
sexuality.
Nothing. We're having the conversation, my friend, and the fact that you bring me on and have the conversation and your listeners might not even know who I am will now have an experience that they never had before, and they'll start.
Totally.
It will. I
Totally.
guarantee you. I don't care who you are listening. I don't care what your thing is. I don't care what your sexuality is, what your gender is. Your mind right now will start to change and think about what does that mean, a man with a vagina?
Makes you think about people differently too.
Right on.
Like, and just like think of, like, I don't know, the first time I saw a trans naked body, I was like, that's like a sphinx. You know,
cool.
like a griffin. You
Right
know?
on,
Like,
yeah.
it's like still fucking cool.
Yep.
Like if a griffin showed up, you wouldn't be like, you're not a real animal.
Exactly.
You'd be like, sick, griffin's here.
You're like badass.
Yeah.
Totally.
Exactly.
That's the thing. Like, just be proud of who you are, people. Don't worry if you don't have no arms and no legs. You'll figure out how to fucking roll around in here and get the fuck through the door.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot victimize yourself. I'm telling you, it
Totally.
is so easy to victimize yourself. I don't care who you are or what's going on in your life. You have options.
Yeah.
We have to start to teach people to stop feeling so shitty about themselves because other people tell them they're
Yeah.
shitty. That's the problem, is that we're not finding our own space, and we don't seem to be confident enough to be in our own space. We're worried.
Well, that's the thing too, is if you're in a body of a gender that you don't feel like, you're not going to be like trying to pleasure your genitals because
No.
you don't think they belong to you. But like,
Yes.
you've made such a great point of like being like, this is a thing that can give me immense pleasure. Why would I ignore it?
And one of the reasons I didn't get that penis surgery at that time was that it was a 50-50 chance of losing my orgasm. I'm like, first of all, I'm not a gambler. Second, even 1%, I wouldn't do it. It's not that important to me. Penises are overrated. Sorry to all the dudes out there, but they're overrated.
Yeah.
They're awesome, and I have sex with them. I love them. They're great. But I don't understand this desire, especially my community, still today, when we just don't have the advanced technology to do that. Why is that still such a big part of transitioning? And I don't want to in any way, shape, or form shame anybody from doing it, or that's a question that I have. I am very respectful of everybody's choices, but I think we need to have a bigger conversation as to why
We have
when
a
I've
Freudian
proven,
penis envy thing.
It
just
really
like,
is. It
I don't know
really is.
where it came from besides Freud.
Yep.
But like,
Yep.
even when I discovered like what got me off and that it was like kind of like a suction thing, I was like, oh my God, it's like sucking my little penis.
It
and I
totally
was
is.
so glad to have a little penis.
Right on.
You know, and I guess I had to think of my vagina that way to like it, which kind of
Yes.
sucks. Like you should
Again.
just like your vagina because it is like a little blessed creature.
It is. It's like, mine's a big blessed creature.
Yeah,
by the
yours
way.
is a
Mine's
big blessed
Mine's a
creature.
gigantic monster.
Well, yours looks like a little penis.
It is a
sometimes.
penis for sure now.
Yeah.
It is. And when it gets sucked, it's sucked like a penis.
Yeah.
It totally goes from flaccid to erect.
Yeah.
It does all the things. I mean,
And that's
because
just because of hormones.
that's only hormones.
Yeah.
The
And
only
so it
surgery I
arises
had was
it.
chest, nothing else.
Yeah. So you obviously don't want to give up orgasms. Do you remember your first orgasm?
As a man or as a woman?
Anything.
So
I think your first one in life.
So my first one in life was as a man, for sure. 100% I do. I was distanced from my vagina. My first year or so of my transition, things were happening, body's changing, my smell
So
is
you never
changing.
had an orgasm as a woman.
I did, but I wouldn't count that as an orgasm
Interesting.
because I didn't really feel comfortable in my body.
Okay.
So I'm going to show you the difference. I
Yes.
had orgasms as a
Okay.
woman, 100% I did. Even as a child, I was a big masturbator.
Okay.
I was kind of like an obsessive masturbator.
Yeah.
So I've been a sexual
How
person.
young?
Oh my God, I can remember since the age of 9 or 10.
Nice.
I had a tree that I would literally molest the tree in the backyard. It was amazing. It was my tree.
It just had like really like smooth bark.
I'm writing my book right now. This like my tree. My first lover was my tree.
Touch this bark, honey. Touch all of this bark.
Seriously, and it had a branch coming out, and I would hang on the branch and wrap my legs around the the trunk and just do pull-ups on it, but rub my vagina against it. And I would come like a million times.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And then there became an indent in the tree, and my dad was he was in the back one day. He's like, "What the hell happened to this tree?" And I was just like, doo-doo-doo.
That's called pussy power, Jack.
Totally. I rubbed the hell out of that tree. So so pretty much of my whole woman life, I had orgasms. I had lesbian lovers. I had all of that.
Yeah.
But it never was connected to my orgasm.
Mm-hmm.
Then as I became a man, I wanted my penis, but I couldn't get the penis. But my sexual energy was so pumped up from the testosterone. It was insane. And I was hanging out with all these gay men. And there was so much sexual energy, but I was too scared to have sex with people or to even talk about it because we didn't talk about it back then.
Sure.
There was no internet when I transitioned.
I mean,
there was
nobody
nothing.
even talked about it when I was
Yeah, we didn't have social media or any of it, right? So I remember I was laying in bed and I started to masturbate because I was alone and nobody was around. So I was like very scared to do it, but I just put my hand down there and I started to rub and I was like, oh my God. And I started to envision things that were making me horny and hot. And my fingers went inside of me and I never was penetrated. And I literally started to like fuck myself and rub my clit at the same time. And I had the most incredible orgasm. I mean, honestly, it was enlightening.
Yeah.
That was my,
the heavens
right there.
Parted.
That was it. And I said,
old
I
were
am
you
never,
then?
I was 28. And I
Oh my
said,
God, I was 28 for my first one too.
Right on.
Yay!
And I said, that's it. I'm not getting rid of my vagina.
Yeah.
I love my vagina.
It's too special.
It's too special.
I had no idea.
No way. And then I became an obsessive masturbator.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Yep,
You
totally.
lose a year of your life.
Yep.
How did you deal with your period? Like, I mean,
God. That was something for my whole life I hated. I didn't get my period until I was 16, which is very late for a woman, right? Yeah. A lot of stuff probably because of my athletic. I didn't have any body fat. I was, really athletic, blah, blah, blah. So when I got it, it was horrifying and I didn't know what to do. And I bled through my pants and I would always bleed through my pants at school because I didn't know. We had Kotex back in the day. I think there was tampon, but I was too scared to stick it inside of me.
Yeah.
So we had these brick things that we would wear that were like bricks, really.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God. And then they would always move around and they smell and everything about it was disgusting. Everything. So of course I'm distanced from myself and it just made me feel horrified. Talk to any trans kid today. Yeah. They're horrified by their period. Yeah. It's the thing that reminds you of being female. Constantly.
Totally.
It is.
Even as a cis female.
Right.
Having your period reminds you of being female, being disgusting, being inferior.
Right.
I think about Eve at the Garden of Eden. I'm like, why did you eat the fruit? Now I have to fucking bleed through my pants. Like, horrible.
Horrible. Horrible. Even women don't like to get their period.
We don't
because
like
it's not
it.
fun and it doesn't feel good. There's just nothing good about it.
Yeah.
Nothing. I tried to embrace it as a woman. Everyone kept telling me, just embrace it. You can't embrace those cramps and the way you feel and just like your PMS and everything about it is a nightmare. So then put a man in that space. So, now we're having trans guys with their period and it's like so.
It's so fucked.
It is because it's taking you in all directions. And when I started hormones, literally within 1 month of my first injection, I stopped my period and I haven't had it since. But I got atrophy.
That's a reason to transition for me.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? It's all about not having get a hysterectomy, lady. Unless you're gonna have babies, rip that thing out.
Yeah.
But then I atrophied after 15 years of testosterone because, again, I'm a guinea pig. Nobody knew about long-term use.
Right.
Atrophy, if you don't know, is basically when estrogen gets taken out of your vagina and it becomes sort of like rock hard. But my uterus and my cervix fused together, which created a petri dish inside.
Ooh,
and I was having such insane cramps. Nobody knew what to do. Long story short, it busted and I became septic and I almost died. And I was living in Mexico at the time and they were like, oh my God. And I'm like, oh my God. And they're like, you almost died. And we've never seen anything like this in our lives.
So they just had to take it out.
They had to rip my whole system out after 3 months of going on hardcore antibiotics because I was so sick from it. Long story short, they're writing a paper about it for the medical journal because it was the first time they'd ever seen a vagina on long-term use of testosterone and what happens to it.
Yeah.
So now I get to be the person who actually helps the younger generation, not atrophy. God guess what? Tons of these kids are atrophying because nobody's listening.
Yeah, because nobody knows.
Nobody knows and nobody's listening. So
Yeah.
I'm doing a bunch of new sort of health stuff for kids right now so they can take it to the gynecologist.
I know. Well, you've been doing a lot more. I mean, I feel like you started in the adult film industry.
I did. Yeah,
right?
that's totally where I started. 100%.
And you've done a great job, and everybody can check out his porn.
Right
but
on.
you've now really transitioned into educational speaking and awareness and stuff.
Totally.
And I noticed that you said your porn background kind of discredits you
A lot.
at times. Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. And Dan Savage, who has been on this podcast, was saying that he's like, porn stars do such important work. Like, and we need them in the moments that we want them. We're glorifying, we're really enjoying them. And then the second that we're done, we belittle them and we make fun of them or say that they're like not.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, I can tell you that from my own life. People won't have me come and speak at certain universities because they find out, the faculty finds out I'm a porn star. I am not a porn star. Yes, I created myself. I created the genre of trans male porn. I moved through that, and through that I got a voice in sexual wellness, and through that I started to teach, and then through that I just became a speaker, and then now I'm just a human rights activist. Really, is what I am.
Yeah.
If you want to just really put me in a nutshell,
We
that's
have to
what I
put
am.
you in a box.
You got to put me in a box, and it's unbelievable though. Anytime porn is like the devil. It's shocking. Yeah, it is. It's shocking.
I mean, we've had porns. We're going to have more porn stars, and we've had
Awesome.
already porn stars on. But you think about the time it goes into porn, like it's mostly a film set, and these people are doing like really incredible work that you're benefiting from.
Yes.
So fucking.
And my
chill.
work stands apart from most of the, and I think porn is one of the most important ways for people to feel good about themselves. There's crappy porn, there's embarrassing porn, there's actually dangerous porn, there's all levels of porn, like levels of every kind of situation. Of course, we have idiots in the porn world.
Yeah.
Idiot asshole people who rape women in our industry. I'll tell you that right now, 100%. It's
Is it
gross.
getting any better?
Oh no, it's horrifying.
fuck.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? I talk about it all the time. No. My friend just got raped on a set.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no. It's not okay. All the guys are making fun as if it's, oh no, we're not okay with that. We're making change. Women get treated like dogs. I mean, not all. I don't want you to think it's the whole thing.
Sure.
There's great companies out there, great straight companies. But it's in the straight world, it's mostly a lot of disconnect between the women and the men. Yeah, a lot. I mean, more than misogyny, like rape.
Horrible.
Yeah, like just horrible shit. But in my particular stuff, I create my own, so I get to produce my own and do my own. I really consider mine more of a sexual education.
Totally.
Or porn, because the way I do it, by interviewing the guys first, you get to know the guys, you kind of become personal with the guys,
Yeah.
and then either they're masturbating or having sex with another person. I bring you into their world. I don't just like throw their pussy in your face and be like, my porn was like that.
Yeah.
Because it was about creating a genre, and it's like back in the day, porn was about titles, like Buck's Beaver and Buckback Mountain and Buck Off, and you know what I mean? Just like, and mine were just straight up scenes of the UPS man knocking at the door or the pizza man.
Yeah.
But as I realized, no, I want to create a more educational type porn.
Totally.
That's what Sexing the Trans Man is, and that's why it blew up, and that's why people were like, but it's in so many universities.
Yeah.
So they actually have my porn in the
Fucking
universities.
Yale. It's insane.
Unbelievable. Yeah. They were really good to me, but they.
And you said you didn't even finish high school? Is that
I
what
did
it
not
was? And you're
finish high
speaking
school.
at Yale.
I did not. My parents are like, wow, how did that happen?
Killing it. Yeah, literally. Anybody's
Authenticity.
parents are being annoying, be like, fuck you. I'll
Know
end
what
up at
you're
Yale in some capacity.
You will, my friend. You're a smart lady. I can tell.
Thanks.
You are.
But yeah, so in Sexing the Trans Man, you were saying how a lot of people do change their sexuality when they're changing their gender. That was the big thing that I was nervous about when Caitlyn came out.
Okay,
I was
right.
like, what if she never loved Chris?
Oh,
That would have really upset me.
Yeah.
Like if their relationship was a lie.
I don't think it was.
I don't think it was.
No.
Now looking back on it and
No.
knowing everything I know, like I think at the time, like I'm gonna cop up to it. Like I didn't know. I was very ignorant. I had never. So I assumed, okay, well now she's a woman. Like, is she gonna start going for guys? Does this mean that she's always wanted guys and that like all of these women that she was with were beards or whatever? And like that would break my heart.
Right.
But her just being a woman is so different.
And it has nothing to do with her sexuality.
Nope.
See that?
Yeah.
But we are so boxed in. Even we are, and we're free thinkers. But even we get so boxed in with this idea that once you become a woman, that means also that you're going to like dudes. Or
right.
So what fascinated me was my own sexuality change, because I was just into women before my transition. I was a very butch woman. I only dated mostly straight women, not even gay women. So I had that kind of dynamic, very butch femme, kind of old school way, like that, you know, opening the door for the lady and all that kind of stuff. I'm totally that kind of butch woman.
And your parents hated
Oh my
you being
God,
a
my
lesbian.
parents hated me as a lesbian. I disconnected from them. They would not speak to me for many years. But, you know, I also had a lot of drug and alcohol problems.
Right.
I literally lived on the street right out behind that door right there. Yeah, I lived on the street for a while. I was prostituting. I was on crack. I was literally living underneath the bench over there. Yeah. But I was like a little dude, and I was picking up it was before my transition, and I was picking up like old dudes would pull up their cars and I'd go, hey dude, and that's how I learned to prostitute. And I would get in the car and do a hand job or blow job for $20 because I could buy crack cocaine, and I did that for like a month until I went home with a dude, which I should have never done, and he literally was going to chop me up into pieces. It was horrifying, and I knew when I walked through the door, this is the biggest mistake I ever made in my whole life. He pushed me through the door and he goes, I know you're a girl and I'm going to fuck you. And I was like, I'm dead. Like my brain just went, I'm dead. I don't know what survival mode. I ripped off my baseball cap. I ripped off my shirt. I ripped off my ace bandage, and I let him see my tits. And then I just grabbed his cock and I just started jacking off his cock, and he came, and then he became a totally different person.
What?
And I don't even know how I did that. It was the weirdest thing. Like I went into weird like prostitute survival mode. Yes. And then he said, let's do some coke. And I was like, actually, dude, do you think you could take me back to the donut shop? I got sober from that moment on.
Wow.
Yep. From that moment on is when I got sober, because I knew if I didn't get sober, I was going to die.
Yeah.
Yep. It was, oh no, fuck it. I'm telling you, my life is so crazy. Like the universe kept leading me in these spaces, and like,
well, yeah. I mean, you've also survived a number of suicide attempts. You used to cut.
Yeah, I was a big cutter.
That like, it's amazing that you are still here, and there's definitely a reason.
100. That's why I celebrate, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't care. You don't have to have the same amount of bullshit that happened to me. I don't care who you are. But you have to learn to wake up in the morning and say thank you. People don't understand what a gift it is to wake the fuck up. You don't. Just think about it. Your eyes open and you're like, I'm awake today. I get to do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
Think about that. That is a gift.
Yeah.
Some people don't wake up healthy. Some people wake up with AIDS and they have to fucking go shit their fucking pants and like take a million fucking vitamins. And if you're waking up every day, your ass better be fucking grateful for that, because you are not celebrating.
Totally.
Celebrate the fact that you have.
I know. I have to remind myself all the time, because I feel like I'm always like life is so hard.
It's
like,
not that hard. It's not. Everyone, of course, and I'm not discounting whatever problems everybody has.
Yeah.
We all have monetary. We all have all the problems that are stressing us out today. I have them. You have them. But the thing that I want people to understand is this. If you don't put that over to the side, because that's just shit. Money will come to you. Things will come to you. You have to believe that. Everything else you have control of, which is the way you feel, how you interact with people, how you make yourself accessible. I mean, all those things you take care of.
Totally. I try and always think of, like, if I'm in those moments, like if I were a soul visiting from another planet or an alien or something, and I was given like just today, like how would I treat that?
Right on,
and then
my
like
friend.
the world's like a little more fun.
Because it's accessible to you. It's too big because you're thinking about next week.
Yeah. Which you don't have no control
You don't.
over. But
Other
you
than
can be
staying
like,
in the
you know
moment.
what? Donuts exist on this planet at this time. Let's do donuts.
Exactly,
or let's
right
have some
on.
orgasms.
Right
Like,
on.
that makes things a lot better.
Yeah, like sometimes when I get stressed out, I just stop everything and go to my bedroom and fucking jack off. I do that all the time.
Yeah.
It's a real big stress reliever for me.
Totally.
And it just makes me feel like, okay, I'm done. Now I can just like go and stop thinking about this one thing that's killing me right now.
So one of the... sirens.
Of course.
Good.
There's a lot of... I think it's because it's raining in LA and people can't drive.
It's actually a thing.
Yep, it's a real
It's
thing.
wild.
It's ridiculous.
Like,
It's embarrassing.
Yeah, I can drive in New York like through no matter what, and
Me
then
too.
I get to LA and I'm like, what's happening? Like people are like driving into store windows.
People lose their minds.
Yeah.
That is so funny. It's embarrassing.
Oh my God, it's already 4:30.
Oh my God.
Fuck. Okay.
See, I told you.
Yeah.
You're like, we're going to do it for an hour. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, you'll see. I never mind having a longer one though. I'm like,
That's all
people
good.
will learn more.
Of course.
And if I'll always like put extras on Patreon.
Yeah,
or
right
whatever,
on.
You
There
know.
you go. Do that.
Okay, so one of the most annoying parts to me about Mr. Angel, the documentary about you, was your appearance on Tyra Banks.
Oh, God.
Tyra Banks had you on her show, and initially she said it was going to be a segment about you, and then you ended up being in a segment called Sexuality.
Oh, it makes me so mad. Can you believe that?
I couldn't.
I know, me neither. I was shocked, actually, because they had been coming after me for 5 years, the Tyra Banks show. And I said, I'm not going on there as a freak. If you want to talk real about my porn and you want to respect me, we can do this. 5 years later, they brought me on. After 2 weeks of talk, you know how it works. Producers, we're going to do the whole thing. I spent weeks. We're going to do this whole hour show on Buck Angel. I literally walk on stage and there's that sign right there. It says sexual oddities. And I look at the producer. I go, what the hell's going on right now? And she goes, oh, no. Her face turned white. And she literally pushed me on stage. And that was it. I actually got pushed on stage. And I was like, wow, you people are in for a big... you know me. I will fucking bulldoze you.
You turned it around and you did like a lot of educating.
Thank you, my
which
friend.
Is great.
Thank you.
I mean, like, what were the other sexual oddities? It was like
there were cousins
dating.
who fucked each other and had babies, like that kind of shit.
Yeah.
You know, like a lady with 3 tits or like whatever. Like, really?
Right.
Really?
Which is... fine if you have 3 tits
of
or whatever.
It's like a circus show. What they were doing was making a circus.
Making it a circus
bearded
show.
lady and another one. Yeah.
Which is what the exact opposite of what you're trying to do, which is normalizing being a trans person.
They lied to me. That's all that matters to me. I don't care about any of that. They lied to me. So I was like pissed at Tyra. So I sat down. You saw, I sat down next to her, and my whole mind, I don't know if you could tell, my mind was thinking, because I thought there's going to be an opening where I'm going to fuck her up. Yeah. And that was the opening when she said, I don't know. When I said, don't you like your vagina? And she was like, huh? Her face just dropped.
Right.
She did not know what to say. But I'm going to tell you something right now. I was pissed about that whole thing.
I was pissed. And it's years later.
Belief. But what I realized was this, walking away from that. First of all, after Tyra was super cool with me, she was all flirty with me. It was fucking hilarious.
Okay.
But then I became her season 5's most favorite show. So I was her favorite show. But this is what you have to understand. That show is taped. That's not a live show. That's a taped show. So she could have actually removed her crazy response, but she didn't.
She kept it.
Because she said that it was such an important segment because she didn't even like her vagina.
Oh,
that's
my
when I
God.
said, okay, I'm back on board with you, lady. You're fucking cool.
That changes everything for me, too.
So she's actually cooler than I thought she was, and she realized how important our conversation was. Even though in the context of freakiness, we actually created something that really showed women do not, even the most beautiful, amazing, powerful Tyra Banks does not like her vagina. And she realized how important that was as a woman.
Through seeing, wow, this is a man who wants to be himself, wants to be masculine, but still values his vagina.
Exactly.
Oh, I should maybe value mine.
And that's what she said. She said, I realized what I had said on there and how important what Buck said to me was, and that I even didn't like my vagina. And I was like, yes, the universe.
Oh my God. So cool.
See that? How the universe, you can find shit. When your life is shitty, look for the space to open up and figure out why it is and how you can change that situation for the better. There's always an opening.
Yeah.
There always is, but we get so blocked by our own anger, our own self-hate.
Yeah.
We just can't see the opening, but there's always an opening.
Totally. Well, I kind of wanted to address, I get a lot of listener questions and people who want to try new things. There was a listener who wrote me and she said she's attracted to a trans man and she's never hooked up with one before. And she's like, do you have any advice on how to do that? And I personally don't.
Okay, right.
And in the interviews, in conversations with trans men, you were asking, like, are you comfortable with your breasts and are you comfortable with people touching them and why or why not or whatever? Right. And it seemed like everyone was comfortable as long as the intention was these are a man's breasts.
Exactly. You totally heard him. Thank you for hearing them.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. All you have to do is treat a trans man like a man. That's it. But really what I'm going to tell you is we're all different. So come to it like a person.
Right.
Come to it like you're going to date a person. How would you do that with a cis man? How would you do it with a cis girl? You're not going to be like, oh, well, they're a cis girl. I'm not really sure how to. No, you're going to let the sexual energy come into the room. build.
Yeah, you're not gonna go.
The guy's
you're not gonna
gonna
grab him by the pussy.
Totally, like let me feel your pussy. Like
start with kissing.
There's just
that's
no,
what I said to her.
Totally.
I was like, if you're attracted, start with kissing.
Yes,
you know, and then
yes.
like
Most
they
trans
ask
men are
you to-
shy.
Yeah.
I'm shy.
Okay.
That way.
Yeah.
Still am today.
Yeah.
I'm not the guy that's the aggressor. I'm
And
aggressive.
how old are you now?
I'm 56.
Okay.
I'm aggressive once the sex gets started, and I'm much more of a top and a daddy. But
Okay.
with that said, I'm in a space of, I would say, much more like, I feel respectful, if that makes sense. I don't
Totally.
want to be the guy that like jumps on the chick, or, you know, it's
Right.
different with two guys. It's different. But
Okay.
if I was to have sex with a woman or to just go on a date, or I'm very much the guy that lets the woman kind of make the move, because I feel like I don't want to be that guy that's too aggressive or that might be uncomfortable
Right.
for the woman. So
Right.
for trans men, I think a lot of us tend to be a little shyer, and we don't want to be that kind of male energy. So you might not get the guy coming onto you at first. You might have to make that move, or
Okay.
try to sit closer, or let him guide you with his body.
Yeah.
And always ask questions. And pertains to everybody.
Yeah.
It's not just a trans thing.
Totally.
So really, when you're having sex, or when you're meeting somebody, or when you're going to have a connection, you just have to let it be natural. And if if the kissing isn't happening, then you be the aggressor.
Right.
You do it.
Totally.
It's pretty simple. Like there's no
Yeah.
way to do us. We're just like you. It's just
people.
We're people.
Yeah.
It's
and like
not.
just like every woman's vagina is different, every man's
And some women
vagina
like
might
to
be different too.
right. And some women like to have their pussies licked, and some don't. Some like to
Right.
be penetrated, some don't.
Right.
Just like us. Some of
Right.
us like being penetrated, some of us don't.
Well, my friend Gina is trans, and she was saying how she was hooking up with a woman once, and she was trying to go down on her and treating her dick like it was a vagina. And she's
Yep.
like, well, you can't just like lick my dick. Like it's still a dick. Like you have to treat it like a dick.
Well, that she needs to tell her that exactly.
Right, and she did.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
you need to still do the things that are going to get the vulva
thing
off, but treat it more like a masculine
it's energy.
vagina.
It's energy.
Exact-
It's
yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if you saw and started to fuck my vagina that you would feel like you were fucking a chick. You wouldn't. So even though it's still a vagina, you're gonna figure out it's natural.
Yeah.
If you've never licked a vagina, I don't care who you are. The minute that vagina gets in your face, I guarantee you're gonna figure out how to lick it, eat it out, fuck it, because it's just a natural thing. Sex is natural.
Yeah,
But we
if
put
you're
too much.
attracted to the person that you're
Totally.
with. Yeah, you'll figure it out how.
It'll come all natural.
Totally.
We have so much emphasis on what to do. Mm-hmm. It's not about what to do. It's like what happens. How does it naturally
Yeah.
come? Everyone's different when it comes to sex. Anyway,
Totally.
we know that. Everyone. I don't like to necessarily have my nipples touched because they're very sensitive. But then if I get really deep into it, then maybe you can kind of do it. So you see there's roads and valleys and places to go and toys to play with.
Well, you also made the big decision, and you said this in Mr. Angel. You were like, you were verifiably a model, and you, quote unquote, gave up being a beautiful girl in order to be yourself.
On some level, yeah, whatever that. I mean, right? Because I never felt like a beautiful girl, but that's all I ever heard.
Yeah,
and that
you
was
were.
horrifying.
You were
that's like
fucking
hearing,
stunning.
But that's like hearing, that's like hearing you're an ugly girl to me. You know what I mean? Like, or to a woman who really wants to be a beautiful girl. Like it's the opposite. When I kept hearing you're beautiful, it made me feel sick.
Yeah.
It made me want to drink more alcohol.
But you were like a hot young boy too, so I don't understand why anyone would say that. Like,
because when I got makeup on and stuff, it was during the androgyny movement. I was really part of that whole
Yeah.
androgyny
Yeah.
thing. Like I had the opportunity to seriously
you're
become
like a slippery slope for people.
right on.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We're like, we're not sure.
Yeah. Oh,
am I
fuck. I
attracted
want to
to
fuck you. Oh, fuck.
Oh my god, I get it all the
What do I
time.
do?
You get it? I mean, what does that make me?
Yeah. What does that make me?
I know. Where does
Like,
that make you?
I think that's what people have such an issue with trans people is they're looking at you and they got a tingle or something, and then it's like, what does that make me?
It's all about them. See? Again,
Yeah.
what I told you earlier. Everything is so fucking narcissistic now.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with anything other than like, oh my God, does that make me gay? Oh my God. No.
Yeah.
It makes you attracted to a person.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the gender. We really need to get off of this gender. I believe in gender. That's one thing I want you to know.
I
do.
believe in bodies.
Gender-
I believe in science, and I believe vaginas
Yes.
work certain ways and
Me
penises
too.
work certain ways, and we should
Exactly.
know about them because they are our bodies. But I don't know why we have to assign gender.
Well, because gender is real. I will tell you, I believe gender is real,
Okay.
but I don't think it should be necessarily determined by our genitals. Though you can't have a spectrum without a beginning and an end. So we do have male and female. I do believe that, but I'm not sure how we need to handle this, because I think the problem is we are stamping people at too early of an age and saying they're a male and female when they might not be. I was clearly not a female.
Yeah.
They assigned my female because of my vagina.
Yeah.
But my vagina is still on me, and I'm a man.
Yeah.
So there has to be some way that we can recreate this idea of gender. Maybe just let people pick their gender, right?
What age do you think people know?
I would say I started knowing, I don't have a memory of a real young person. I just don't. Most of my memories come around 9. There was clearly a lot of abuse for me when I was a younger kid. But that said, most of my memories come from 9, and I'll never, ever, ever remember myself ever thinking of myself as a girl.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
Ever. That's most of my problems as a person in my life, was always wanting to be a boy but a girl.
Yeah.
It was everything, that reason I didn't graduate
Totally.
school, why I was a horrible student, why I was a loner, why I was shy. They called me shy. That wasn't shy. I was withdrawn and freaked out.
Yeah.
But they call that shy, right? Back in the day. I was a tomboy, and then I would grow out of it because we didn't talk about trans kids back in the day. I mean,
Nobody knew. Nobody knew, but
they didn't.
I've said this probably a million times, but just the way that our grandparents are like, oh, there are so many gay people now. It's like there were gay people back then too. It's just nobody talked about it. Like there have been trans people in so many different societies around the world, like
everywhere,
for millennia.
Hello,
like
the cavemen were trans. I guarantee you. We were always looked at as two-spirited.
There's indigenous tribe, like Native American tribes.
Everything.
Like,
everything. But Christianity wiped that out. And no offense to any Christians out there. I'm totally not against Christianity. What I'm against is organized religion. I believe in Jesus. He was a fucking cool ass guy. He was like a stoner dude.
Oh,
he was a human rights activist.
Oh, we have a whole episode last season about Christianity and what the Bible actually
what Jesus, it actually says.
Jesus was down.
He was down.
Hose. Yeah,
he is not. He is not having what's happening right now.
Yeah, no, he was down for abortion. He was down for all
everything.
Of it. Ooh. This was one, I don't know if this was your story or someone that you were interviewing, but someone had body dysphoria. And he was saying how he can feel that someone was fucking him like a woman instead of like a man.
Yeah.
And that he was laying with his partner and he was looking at his body and he thought the way that he was laying was too feminine. I remember that. Yes. Or whatever. And I had a similar situation where I was with my 10th grade boyfriend and we were laying and he had his leg on top of my leg and I instantly got grossed out because I was like, ew, he's the girl.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I never think, but like, why is...
no, but it's really deep.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is so deep that we have these, just somebody putting their leg across you can actually induce a feeling of uncomfortableness that has to do with gender roles.
Yeah.
How insane is that?
Like, he didn't do anything wrong. He was probably just trying to show me affection or
of
whatever
course he was.
it is.
Of course, yeah. No, it's all that.
But I got like the heebie-jeebies because I'm like, ew, he's a girl.
Because it felt too feminine for you. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, like girls are great, Remy. Don't judge girls.
Right on.
Yeah, there's a girl with a penis. How do you not love him?
But you see, we all have this like stuff that we have to deal with that really, and so trans men, there's a lot of that dysphoria around. Am I sitting like a woman right now, or am I sitting like a man right now? Like, that's why I do a lot of that man sitting shit. I do a lot of this.
Oh, you do?
It's learned behavior. No, totally. I always sit like this. It's totally learned behavior because when I was a girl, I sat like this because it's masculine to sit like this.
And you tried to pee like a boy.
I pee like a boy today.
You do?
I sit now. Fuck it. I'm not gonna
I was
stand.
like, that's too much
No way.
work.
Sitting. So many men sit. Are you
so
kidding?
many men sit.
That's just a bullshit thing.
Thing is, when you start living with a guy, like gay or straight or whatever,
they sit.
If they're tired, especially they're hungover, whatever, they're sitting.
Of course, and that's what I have to keep telling these trans kids who have these things called pack and pees or like pee things. I go, those aren't sanitary, kids.
Yeah.
And it's gross, and like you're just peeing. Sit the fuck down. Nobody cares.
Yeah. Like stop
it's weird.
trying to adjust your body to like make other people comfortable.
That's exactly what it is, my friend. Thank you for saying that.
Just
it's not for them, it's for the outside world. Yep. I'm trying to talk these kids. I'm doing it. They're hearing me.
Yeah.
They're hearing me. They are. They have to see an old man like me who's grumpy and over shit. Because seriously, because then they get to be like, okay, I see. Trampa doesn't do it. I cannot do it. That's fucking cool. They say that to me all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, just walk the world like you fucking own it, kids.
I'd never heard about binders before your films either, which are the things that keep men's breasts down.
Down, so you look like you have a chest.
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
That is an uncomfortable thing. I mean,
yeah. So I know. So it's called a binder, and it pushes the guy's chest down. But what happens is you can't wear it a lot because kids are getting their ribs crushed, and they're actually having like whatever movement or some shit, and it's crushing their ribs. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. It's like, really, we're doing this to our kids. This is not okay. Now, oh my God, they're doing surgeries on these kids now, and they're charging extra for nipples, so the kids aren't getting their nipples put on.
What?
Oh my God. I'm actually real. This is real. So kids are having top surgery is what we call it when you remove your breast.
Right.
Is the nipple part of the breast?
Yes.
Thank you. The surgeons are so money hungry that they are actually telling these kids that your nipples can be put back on, but they're going to be charged extra because that's cosmetic surgery. Are you fucking kidding me? Grandpa is pissed. No, I'm doing a whole thing on this because I'm looking at these kids and writing them like, why don't you have your nipples? And they're like, well, the doctor was going to charge me $3,000 more and I don't have it. I'm like, no, that's a right. You have a right to your nipples.
Yeah.
How? So now we have all these young trans kids running around with no nipples. It's real. I'm going to send you the Instagrams. You're going to freak out.
Also, though, when you do have a successful top surgery, do you keep the sensitivity in your nipples?
So it depends on your surgery. I had keyhole, which just meant I cut underneath my areola. Right. My surgeon actually snipped my nipples off.
Ooh, no.
So that they would grow back and look more masculine, which was a brilliant idea.
Okay.
He experimented with me.
They grew back?
Yeah, they did.
What do you mean?
They grew back flat like men's nipples. So, women's nipples and men's nipples are totally different.
Totally different.
Yeah. So I had woman nipples, which are a little bit higher and fatter, and they just look feminine. So he just fucking took scissors during surgery. It's so gross. And he just snipped them off.
But what about the middle part of the nipple?
So no, it stayed. But what happened is this is flat now. And one of them I got pierced. So it actually made the nipple grow bigger. But it made it look more masculine, which is what I wanted. I want a masculinization.
Totally.
So, but some kids get their nipple totally taken off because their breasts are bigger. So they have to have a different kind of surgery, which is the kind that cuts underneath the breast.
And then you have the line.
And then you have the line, and then it heals flat, but then you put the nipple back on. And then the nipple can have sensation or no sensation because you're cutting through, nerve endings. And we know how sensitive nerve endings can grow back or not grow back. So it depends on the person.
It depends.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the surgeon.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
But, they're mutilating our kids out there for the only sheer fact of making more money. That's it. We become sort of like a commodity.
I can't believe it's like nipples.
It's
optional.
disgusting.
Not even nipples optional. Like nipples are extra.
That is not
nipples and guac should not be extra.
Oh my God, it makes me so angry because these are young kids.
Yeah.
These are 20-year-old kids who are too shy to talk about it or too shy to say to the doctor, go fuck yourself.
So they're just going to end up with no nipples.
With no nipples. There's a bigger message in this. Are they trying to make us look like freaks now so that they can actually make us stand apart from the rest of the world? Like, who knows?
Do you know, are there any great trans doctors in this space?
Oh, my God. There's tons of great doctors. Tons.
Okay. But I'm saying that are trans themselves.
Oh, no. We have very few. We're working on that.
I think that would be a great...
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Totally. There are maybe a handful of us. But now I'm really trying to get the kids to start going to medical school. And it's like, that's what you kids need to do. If you're gay and you would prefer to have a gay, especially if you're like, you want to have a gay doctor. He understands you more. You get it. It's like sometimes that's why women want a woman doctor.
Well, when we were talking to Dan Savage too, he was saying about the It Gets Better project.
Right.
Like, it's parents that those kids don't have because a gay kid's not going to have gay parents necessarily.
Right.
Whereas like, a Jewish kid would have Jewish parents and they can relate or whatever. Like it would be easier, to have a doctor that understands you and has that
compassion. Of course, you want your family with you.
Yeah. And a great bedside manner. And speaking of bedside manners.
What?
Ooh,
I'm scared.
My Helix mattress. Have you ever seen a Helix mattress?
No.
Do you know about them? They're amazing. I always talk about how I love watching their unboxing videos. And if you guys use our code to get a Helix mattress, please send in an unboxing video and we'll repost it.
Great idea.
Yeah, it'll be fun. My mattress needed a new one because I soaked through both of mine and Ben's mattress. Sorry.
I love you.
So if you need a new mattress after squirting or whatever you're doing, go to helixsleep.com/howcome. They have a 2-minute sleep quiz that matches you to your perfect mattress based on your body type and your sleep preferences. And if you are in a couple, it'll ask you your partner's body type and their sleep preferences, which is very considerate. The mattresses are customized to your unique needs. No more compromising on a mattress that wasn't designed to work for you. They have a 10-year warranty, and you can try your mattress for 100 nights risk-free, and they'll even pick it up for you if you don't love it, but I know you will because I fell asleep in Charlotte's bed and didn't have nightmares. Who would believe? So what you got to do is go to helixsleep.com/howcome, take their 2-minute sleep quiz, and they'll match you to the best mattress ever. It'll give you the best sleep of your life. Right now, Helix is offering up to $125 off of all mattress orders. So to get up to $125 off, go to helixsleep.com/howcome. Again, that's helixsleep.com/howcome for up to $125 off your mattress order. Love it.
Right on.
Yeah.
I squirt.
Yeah. Do you squirt?
Yeah, I love it.
Oh my God.
It feels so amazing.
Did you squirt for the first time?
As a man.
As a man.
As a
yeah.
man.
So all of your real sex that
That's
we're
what I'm
counting.
talking. All of it has been as a man.
Happened as a man.
But wait, you said you ruined the Helix mattress.
Oh no, I didn't ruin the Helix. I ruined my other mattress.
Oh, your other mattress.
Yeah. It's just like
a big stain.
big stain. Yeah.
That's good. I love stains.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of nasty.
It's like, do I want to come and then do laundry? I don't know.
Totally.
I don't know.
But you don't know. It's like, it's okay. Don't you have a little plastic sheets underneath there?
I should get some.
You should. Those are amazing. I have one of those.
Okay.
They rule.
When was the first time you squirted?
Actually, the first time I squirted was about a year into my transition or so after I started masturbating. Then I got a girlfriend, and then we had crazy, crazy sex. And then I let her fuck me with her fingers, and that's how I squirted.
Wow.
Yeah, with fingers.
Internal.
Yeah, internal.
So like
it just went it was like I couldn't believe it. It wouldn't stop.
It's amazing.
It was so insane, and
Water
that
park.
feeling. Oh my God, that feeling is amazing.
Yeah, it's really something like you can't describe.
No, I think I cried actually.
Yeah. Oh, I
did.
cried after my first
Yeah,
orgasm.
I think I
and
cried.
I squirted after my. Yeah. There's just a lot of water.
There's so
Just so wet.
I couldn't. I was like, I thought I peed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was
know.
like, what is that?
I know. What are you
It's
going to do?
beautiful. We
It
have
is.
to teach more women to squirt.
I know.
Or vaginas.
So you were transsexual performer of the year. You had a feminist award in porn, and you also had the most outrageous sex scene.
I forgot about that.
What
I
was
did.
that?
The most outrageous sex scene was the first ever in the history of pornography, a transgender man and a transgender woman. A transsexual man and a transsexual woman. That was my scene with Alana Starr. And I'll never, we did that, gosh, maybe 20 years ago. I started porn 20 years ago. And I think it was maybe 3 years into that. So it was like that many. And we got, we didn't win. We were nominated. How did we didn't win? I don't understand.
Well, because now that I'm thinking, I'm like, that's not even that out. I mean, I guess
Back in the day,
it was outrageous.
The cameraman stopped filming and said, Buck, no offense, dude, but I've been filming porn for over 30 years, and you just blew my mind.
Oh
He goes, because from down here, I'm coming down, and there's a man, and I'm coming down, and there's a woman, and he goes, but then there's a penis and a vagina, but they're on the opposite sides.
Yeah. It's like bizarro.
It was
porn.
awesome.
I love that.
It was awesome. So, see, I did that kind of porn back in the day that you would consider clown porn or circus porn, but I had to. There was no other way for me to sort of break into doing things without doing scenes like that.
Totally.
And even though me and her didn't feel freakish, the context of it was like we were just like hanging out, and she spotted me and she thought I was hot, and we started fucking, and she was like, "But I'm a woman with a dick," and I'm like, "Well, really? I'm a man with a vagina. Let's start a family." It was hilarious.
I actually have a friend whose brother is trans, and he's married to a trans woman, and neither of them have their genitals swapped, and they've been pregnant 3 times.
Right
and they have
on.
3 kids.
Beautiful.
And so I think that's like one of those
it.
things that can happen when you are proud of what you've already been given, and that doesn't really dictate your gender. Like,
Nope.
yeah, you can wear the clothes that make you feel comfortable, but like try to sort that stuff out before like mutilating your body. And I loved what you said too about how making your own money to get your surgeries is a great first step, because
these kids,
you're building up so much time thinking about it, thinking if it's worth it, saving
Thank you,
up,
my friend.
and then becoming independent so that like when you do it, like it's yours.
It's yours.
Yeah. Are you loving the fact that sex toys now are less genital centric? Like, I feel like I grew up with all like penis looking,
of course, yes,
things.
Yes.
Like, do you think that's helpful to the trans
100%?
community?
Yeah, but we not
I
only I created the world's first trans male sex toy.
Oh yes,
I created the Buck Off, which has never existed, and no sex toy company would help me create that. You know that for 5 or more years, nobody would touch it until I got to this company called Perfect Fit, and they were like, "Dude, that doesn't exist," and I'm like, "No." That became one of the fastest selling sex toys on the market.
What is the Buck Off?
The Buck Off is I brought you a gift here also.
Shut up. I'm
yeah.
so excited.
I created the Buck Off, which basically slides over top of the clitoris, which grows to about the size of my thumb. So imagine your thumb erect. And what it does is it slides, like a cisgender man stroker. If a stroker fits over the penis and you just, it's the exact same idea, but for a tiny little penis.
So I can use it.
So after I created that, which is my signature toy, right? Because I have a gigantic clitoris.
Yeah.
But what happened is there's a lot of trans men out there and gender non-binary and gender non-conforming and gender queer, whatever. They don't take testosterone, so they don't have an enlarged clitoris. So I had to create a second toy called the Kiss X. And the Kiss X is the same thing that the Buck Off does, but it's for basically everyone else who has a vagina or a smaller. That's what I brought you, the Kiss X, which I'll show you right now.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
And so
as I like to say.
I am so lucky. I'm telling you, the fact that I'm the one who got to create this, and now I have a whole line.
I'm lucky I get to receive it.
So you're gonna have to tell me how you like it, though. This is the Kiss X.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
So it's a hand masturbator, and it you have to play with it. It doesn't just like work right away. People get all like, "Fuck, I can't figure it out." I'm like, sit with yourself.
Yeah.
You're not in a rush.
Yeah. Enjoy
Smoke
the journey.
some weed and like get your partner and like play. The other cool thing about that is my Buck Off mostly is you can stick it over the top of the head of a cock and jack off the head of the cock. And I call that the knob polisher. Yeah. And this, I use the Kiss X more than I use the Buck Off because it's tighter around my clitoris. So you can actually stretch it so big and maybe even try it on your boyfriend's cock and see how he likes that. Oh, and I brought you another present too.
I love things for sharing.
I also created the world's first all-natural erection drink with CBD. Huge, big seller.
A buckshot.
It's called the Buckshot. And that is all-natural erection drink that kicks ass.
Erections for both?
Yep.
Great.
Yep, for everyone. But right there, I marketed that one to male, but I'm redoing the label so that women and men can, or everyone can
Unreal.
use it. It'll give your clitoris a tiny little hard-on, but mostly it's just going to make you, and it gives all penises hard-ons.
Yay.
But you can only drink half of that, or I would drink a quarter of it maybe. I tell men to drink, or people who have penises, to drink a half of it. Yeah. And then they get pretty much a boner for like 4 hours.
I'm about to have a really fun few weeks.
Yeah, you are.
You also started a dating site.
I sure did. Many years ago. It's called Buck Angel Dating.
Is it a site or is it an app?
No, it's a site.
It's a site.
Yeah, it's way before the apps came out, so it's been around for a long time. And it was mostly, it's not so much for me to make a shit ton of money on.
No.
It's more about a service for my community.
Yeah.
Because it is hard to date. And then you go on the Scruff, and you go on Grindr, and you go on Tinder, and you get your ass fucking reamed by people because they don't understand trans people. They talk shit
why
to
are
you.
You even fucking on
Oh my God,
here?
that's horrible behavior, and it's not okay. And I don't want to see my community being like, you know, slammed just because they want to have sex.
Totally.
It's horrible.
You want a safe little space
Yes.
where you know people are down.
And people are down for people
pleasure.
like me. Oh my God, I get so abused on so many of those sites. I just stopped going on them. It's like ridiculous. Like, or they just want to fuck me to try it or whatever. And it's like, well, you can do that. That costs money.
Sure.
100%. You can try me out, my friend.
Yeah.
This is my fee. I take PayPal and Venmo. Not a problem. Just so you know.
Okay.
Anyone can try me out. But that's going to be a business transaction. But if you're going to date or we're going to go on a sex thing, no, you're not going to call me names and you're not going to try me out.
Yeah, you don't have to open yourself up
Nope,
to that like
I will not do
emotional
that. That's
abuse.
why I masturbate.
Exactly. Yeah, you can get yourself
I can abuse myself.
100%. I used to have a joke that was people with self-esteem problems don't masturbate. We hate fuck ourselves.
That is awesome. That's a good T-shirt.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah,
So
maybe
real.
I'll put it on a T-shirt.
Yes.
One final thing I wanted to talk about with you was you were talking about in conversations with trans men disclosing genitalia before you have sex.
Oh, I love you. Thank you.
And you were asking, like, at what point do you do that? Like, at what point do you think it's someone's responsibility. Kind
Always.
of. Always?
I'll say it always. Look, if you have HIV or STD or something like that, is it your responsibility to disclose that to your partner?
Definitely.
100%.
Yeah.
When do you do it?
After we're kissing.
Okay. But you do it.
Like,
when there's going to be some genital, but you believe in doing it every time.
Yeah, or
you're going to have contact.
Even if I'm not on the pill or something.
Okay, right. But
like
you're
the
going to do it.
second we think we're going to have sex or something, I'm like, we need to do something about it.
You have to talk about it.
Right.
It's the same thing when it comes to your genitals. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if I walk into a room and me and you meet each other and you see me, you're going to think I have the biggest dick in the world.
Yep.
So I don't have the biggest dick in the world. And I know that I know it, but I know you don't know it.
Yeah.
So if I go home with you right now, I already know that you're thinking I'm going to fucking bang you with my big dick.
Yeah.
And how fucked up is that for me not to be honest to you and also to myself? Because what I'm doing is putting myself in a not only dangerous situation, but also a situation where I'm not feeling good about myself. So on some level, it's also for my own self-esteem, but it's also to respect you and your choice.
Yeah.
How can you make an informed choice if you don't know, if you don't have if you don't have information?
Okay, so for how long, like,
so we
walk into a room.
This is only me saying that. Many people don't disclose, and they fight me on it all the time.
Okay.
My community fights me on it all the time.
Okay.
They say I'm victim blaming. They say that it's not their responsibility to disclose. I highly disagree with that. It's only my opinion.
Okay.
And I will tell people right now, you will put yourself in a bad space if you go home with somebody and you don't disclose the situation that could be actually causing a bad situation.
Yeah.
So specifically, my vagina could actually cause a bad situation. Even if I go home with some dude and he thinks I have a dick and I don't, what happens a lot of times to trans women is they get beat up.
Yeah.
And that's not victim blaming. That is a reality. That is saying that could have been totally prevented if we had the discussion.
Yeah.
So the same thing is, I'm going to tell you, if I had sex with you and you have HIV and you didn't tell me, I'm telling you I'm going to be pissed right now.
Right.
Of course I am.
Yeah.
So when does it come? Or that's your judgment. You need to figure that out. For me, it's always the minute I know there's going to be sex.
Yeah, I would say it's like the minute you know that there's a sexual attraction.
Always.
Or
But
something.
not
Like if
dating.
we say, hi, Remy, hi, Buck, you don't need to tell me
Nope.
or whatever. But if I'm like,
Yep.
hey.
Let's go fuck. If you said to me, let's go fuck, I would
you'd be
immediately
like,
say,
okay,
yeah.
cool. So
right
a
on.
little bit about me.
Yep, exactly what I would do. Exactly what and I don't feel, to me, that's hot.
Yeah.
To me, that's hot
That's
and
like
sexy.
letting you into the world.
Yes.
Like, yeah. So this is going to be a little something that you weren't expecting.
It doesn't have to be that you're coming from a space of feeling bad about yourself.
Yeah.
That's what trans people think.
Yeah.
They think it's a space of coming. No, it's a space of empowerment.
Well, it also gives the other person time to be better equipped. Like, say, like we're flirting or whatever, and
Yeah.
I want to hook up, but
Yeah.
I've never gone down on a vagina before.
Exactly.
Like, I'm gonna want to go home, read
Yep.
She Comes First by Dr. Ian Kern,
Right.
and figure it out. You know?
Figure it out.
Yeah.
But you can't make an informed choice without being informed. That's
Yeah.
like ridiculous.
Totally.
And I think it's really insulting to our community and for us to not be so empowered by our own self that we can't disclose. People don't know, especially people who are passing. People don't know that I have a vagina.
Right.
Unless they know who I am. And so,
Yeah.
of course, that's the whole point. I don't want people to know.
Yeah.
Until I tell them. And so,
Yeah.
of course, I can't expect you to think I have some gigantic cock when I don't.
Right.
And if you're already thinking that in your mind, we're not going to have good sex.
Totally.
Because you're all the whole time going to be like, this is weird.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't believe you didn't tell me.
I mean, I would be weirded out on my own. I would be totally weirded out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a weird thing. It's just that you make it a weird thing when you hide it.
My mom was a nurse in a hospital before she had all of her kids. And
Uh-huh.
one time there was a guy who came in and she was cleaning him off and she takes off one of his boots and he's got no foot.
Oh, wow.
Equally shocking.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally.
It's just like,
Why didn't you tell me you didn't
why
have a
didn't
foot?
you tell me you didn't have a foot? You know? Like, now I have this shocked look on my face where I don't even care that you don't have a foot. It
I
doesn't
know.
affect my life.
But see, if he would have said,
if he would have said it, it would have been better.
I swear to God, it's
Yeah.
like a real fucking thing.
Yeah. Well, this has been so much fun.
Right on, my
it's
friend.
such an honor to have had you on this
Thank you.
podcast. Can you tell everybody where they can find you, find all of your work?
Oh, yeah, right
find
on.
you on the internet. Blah,
Yeah,
blah, blah.
I'm so easy to find. Buckangel.com, Instagram Buckangel, Twitter Buckangel,
Perfect.
Facebook official Buckangel. That's
Okay.
it. Everywhere.
Perfect.
Thank you.
And you can see your movies on Amazon Prime.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I got on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
I fought for a year to get them
So
on there.
sick.
I know. Thank you so much.
I
feel so proud of myself.
I know. I'm so proud of you too.
Thank you.
I have to ask this at the end of every episode, at the end of every sexual experience, which this has been because I'm a courteous host.
Right on.
Buck, did you finish?
Always. Are you kidding me? I'm a pig.
Amazing.
I'm not leaving until I finish.
Around and shit. Okay, well, I finished too. Charlotte's not here to ask me. If you want to head over to Patreon, we've got some really great extras. Patreon.com/howcome. But this has been so much fun. Thank you for coming.
No, thank you for coming.
Oh, great. And we'll see you next time on How Come.
Bye.
Bye.
It's not you, it's me. I try so hard to finish honestly. They say you'll know when you go all the way from A right down to O. Oh no, I think that I still got a ways to go. Oh, I'm sick of this and I have got to know. How come? How come? How come I can't achieve? How come I can't achieve? I'm rolling up my sleeves. I'm rolling up my sleeves. Oh baby, I believe these guests can help. 'Cause I can't do it by myself. I wanna just